Hey everybody, Michael here from GetFitOver40.com. Wearing a toque because it's a little cold in my sea can. Still managed to pull off the tank top, but got to have the toque on. Glasses are on because I got a little eye thing going on too. I'm looking pretty rough. I got my glasses, my beard, my toque. Anyways, maybe it's a new look for me. Today we're going to talk about not my look, but smartwatches in general. Fitness watches, smartwatches. You know, it's just, I get a lot of times clients, just people on YouTube, whatever, people asking me questions like, which watch should I get? What fitness watch, fitness tracker? Should I get a smartwatch? Should I get a dedicated fitness tracker, a sports watch? And there's so many of these things out there, it's really hard to narrow it down because it's kind of like, you know, like what people say, well, what car should I buy? There's all these manufacturers, you know, should I buy a little compact car? Should I buy an SUV? Should I buy a van? It really depends what you're going to use it for, right? So that's the same thing with smartwatches. There isn't going to be necessarily one brand or one style that's perfect for everybody. Otherwise, there'd just be one smartwatch on the market because everybody would want that watch. It would be the right price. It would have the right fitness features. It would have the right smart features, right? All of those things, and nobody would want anything else. But that doesn't exist. I wish it did. It doesn't. So I'm in the same boat as everybody else. I mean, I flip-flopped around through different smartwatches and fitness watches. I believe I had some Jabra thing at the very beginning. It was some little thing that went around my wrist. I can't remember what it was. It just basically did steps, and that's about it. And you know, these things have evolved over time. Heart rate monitors, crazy motion sensors. You know, they can detect elevation. They have GPS. You know, some of them even have like cameras built in. I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to these things. For the average person, though, I think, you know, just a basic step tracker with a basic heart rate monitor on it. You know, maybe some notifications coming in. That's probably all most people need to get the job done. And those will be, you know, probably within $100 to $200. There, you can get different styles with different types of screens on them, or sometimes very little screen information. If you just need to see it on your phone, for instance, but you just want to get some vibrating telling you what's going on, you can get those watches or fitness trackers. But then there's people out there who want to dive into all the detailed nitty-gritty information. They want the best heart rate tracking. They want the best GPS. They want, you know, notifications coming in and all kinds of stuff. They want to be able to reply to notifications on their watch. They want to be able to talk into their watch and, you know, reply on their watch, not just their phone. And, you know, I'm kind of like that too. I really need the detailed information for fitness tracking, but I like the smartwatch capabilities because I do find that it's useful. You're not always going into your pocket, grabbing your phone. You can do a lot of stuff right with your watch. Like I've been answering a lot of calls on my Samsung Gear here because it works really well as a phone. It sounds really good. I can hear people, they can hear me. I can answer calls super easy, and the cool thing is if I have earphones in, it knows that I do, so when I answer a call on here, it goes right to my earphone, which is cool. If I'm connected to the phone, I can answer right on the Samsung Gear and talk through the built-in speaker and microphone that's on it. So, and I can reply to texts and stuff through voice. Like, and a lot of times I'll just use the voice on here. It's easier than pulling my phone out and typing. I can just go in here and say what I want in a text, hit send, it's done, right? It's almost easier than on the phone in some cases. Not always, but in some cases it is. So that's me, but you know, like all that cool stuff, all the tech, all the smartwatch stuff is useless if the watch doesn't do fitness very well. And so, I mean, some of the stuff that I've used an Apple Watch. That thing's pretty cool. I mean, the Apple Watch, if you're an Apple person and you want the best smartwatch fitness tracker out there, the combination of the two, I'd say the Apple Watch is a no-brainer. It's just going to work really, really well with your iPhone stuff. If you don't need as much smartwatch abilities, then there's definitely a lot of other options like Garmin, Fitbit, you know. I'm going to steer a little bit away from Polar. They're okay. I have used Polar in the past, but I don't think they're as good as some of the newer stuff. I've just heard a lot of complaints about things in their customer service and stuff, issues like that. So, and I don't think their software is as good as Garmin and Fitbit's. I don't think their devices are as good as Garmin or Fitbit. So if you're just, you know, if you want to narrow it down, and if you're going to take one thing out of this video, look at a Garmin or a Fitbit device. If you're more into the outdoors type stuff, the Garmin is the way to go. They have really like sporty, heavy duty watches that are like, they're high priced watches, but they're a serious watch. They look like a watch. They use a different screen technology a lot of the time, but it's very easy to see in bright lights and like in the sun and stuff. Not as vivid in indoor situations, but the screens work and they use low power so they can extend the battery life. But Garmin's really focused on outdoorsy stuff, marathons, you know, everything to do with outdoors, hiking and all that stuff. They kind of almost sometimes forget a little bit about the indoor stuff, but they have been including more of that recently. When I first had a Garmin, they didn't even have a weightlifting option. Now they do, so that's really cool. Fitbit kind of, they're like the I don't know, jack of all trades, maybe master of none. They've got a whole bunch of stuff that works really well. And I think they do work pretty good. And they've got good software, and you know, they've got devices that are high end, low end. So, you know, either way you can go with it. Fitbit has a great name. Everybody, when they refer to a fitness tracker, they call it a Fitbit, whether it is a Fitbit or not. That's a brand. It's not the actual tracker. Fitbit is a company, right? So keep that in mind. They're not all Fitbits. You know, I've used like these Mace Fit watches, and you watch my other video where the Amazement fail. And you know, they were actually really good for a while. This Stratos was amazing. It worked really good. Did it connect with other apps? Well, not really. So that was a shortcoming. Like here again, there's always something, some letdown with these watches. It didn't connect with other apps very well. Potentially Strava, but then I couldn't actually bring that. Strava will detect the workouts and share that with other like things like MyFitnessPal and whatnot, but Strava doesn't share the steps. So there's no way for me to get steps from this watch into MyFitnessPal, so it's kind of silly. Same with the Verge, right? And this Verge is just like, in terms of a fitness watch, it's a little bit more smartwatch oriented than the Stratos. Even though it's the same software, same app and everything, for whatever reason, it just doesn't track calories accurately at all. It's just like totally underestimates your calorie burn. The Stratos was perfectly fine when it was working. This one died on me. So that was my shortcoming, is I only had it for about 7, 8, 9 months or something, and it died. It just started freaking out and not really working properly. So anyways, those two watches, they were good. Like I said, it was like a no-name company. Well, not a no-name company, but Amazfit. A lot of you may not know them as a big fitness watch company or fitness tracker company, but they are making ground, and I hope they fix those things. Like I hope they update the Verge and make the calories count work better, and I hope that they get a little bit better with their customer support and stop sending people around in circles when they should just basically send them a replacement instead of wasting people's time. Then there's basically what's called Android Wear or Wear OS, and this was a really cool watch. This is it's the Diesel On 2.5. Beautiful watch and gorgeous display. I loved it. I gave it a try. This one's going back. I bought it at Best Buy and I got 30 days, and I did try it out. I did give it a run. I tried really hard to make it work, but the problem is it's really more of a smartwatch. It's not as much of a fitness watch. Yeah, you can download apps. You can run Google Fit on it. You can run all kinds of stuff on it. You can run its own built-in, you know, apps for fitness. But the problem I'm having is, like with a lot of these fitness smartwatches, is the optical trackers, the optical heart rate monitors built into them work okay for things like walking around, your basic daily stuff. If you get your heart rate up a little bit, you know, it's going to catch it. But as soon as you get into really intense workouts where your heart rate's going up and down and you're moving your arms around a lot, these guys just tend to fail. Like some days they'll work better than others, but you can't count on them. They just, like even with my Samsung Gear Galaxy here, my Samsung Galaxy, the problem is the heart rate monitor will work great sometimes, and other times it'll go like 5-10 minutes working great, and then the whole rest of the workout it's not reading my heart rate, right? Just can't get it. And I try repositioning it, changing the tightness of the band, just trying everything to get it to work, cleaning off the sensors. It's just not going to do it. So what you need to do, what I feel all these watches need, is a way to hook up an external heart rate monitor so that you can get that heart rate detail without it, you know, without dropping and getting super accurate detail. And the problem is like, yeah, this watch would do it. I could connect a heart rate monitor through certain programs. But what was interesting is, I believe it was Google Fit. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was Google Fit. Google Fit allows me on this watch, or it might have been the built-in app, I can't remember, but it was one of the two. It allows me to hook up an external heart rate monitor. It shows me that heart rate monitor while I'm doing my workout, actual heart rate, what's happening. But when I go into the recorded finished workout, it actually used the built-in heart rate monitor to calculate the calories and shows me that one. Like, what is the point of hooking up an external heart rate monitor if it just shows it to you on here but doesn't factor it into the workout? Like, Huh? Like who's doing the software on these things? I just want to know, like, are these people, what are they doing? Like, what are they thinking? I don't get it, right? Garmin Galaxy and the S3 and the Sport and all of the series are amazing. The huge shortcoming, and I don't know why Garmin, or sorry, not Garmin, Samsung Galaxy, Samsung, all that stuff, but Samsung, they've got this Tizen operating system. It's a lot like the Wear OS. It's based on the Android system, and it works really good, and it's super tight, and it works really good, and they got lots of smartwatch features on here, and you can download apps. You can put like record. You can put Strava on here. You can use the Samsung Health apps that they've got built in, and they all kind of work really good. But again, no heart rate monitor. You can't pair a heart rate monitor with any of those apps. So you're kind of like stuck with the built-in heart rate monitor. The only way around it, I got another way, but the first only way around it, so there's two only ways. Does that make sense? No. But the first only way, because they're really different, is to just use a heart rate monitor connected to your phone using, say, the Strava app or the Samsung app or the Record app. So you could do that. But then, you know, if you just want to not take your phone with you, or you're going to be doing a workout where you're running around and doing, say, like a CrossFit workout, you don't want your phone in your pocket or you're going to crush it, and you're moving all over the place, and maybe you're going out of range, so you need something close to you to get that heart rate monitor, then a phone's not going to work, right? You could use it, but I like just having the watch and just recording the workout on the watch. So, unfortunately, that's not a perfect solution if you want to use an external heart rate monitor, but it could work for some people. If you do want to connect a heart rate monitor to this Samsung Galaxy watch or the S3 or the other ones, the Sport watches, you're going to need to do two things. There's an application, or it's actually a watch face called Sporty Watch. So if you're looking in the store, the Galaxy store, look for Sporty Watch. And it's a watch face. You think, well, how's that going to help me with, you know, tracking calories or using heart rate to track calories? Well, it allows you to connect a heart rate monitor to the watch face, and the watch face essentially is a fitness app, and it records everything and shows you everything, shows you calories and time and distance and a little GPS map on there. It's really good. It should be its own app, but it's actually a watch face. I'd prefer if it was an app, but I'm not going to complain because it's the only company out there dealing with connecting a heart rate monitor to the Samsung Galaxy series or the Gear or the Sports or the S3s, right? And so it does that. Now, where does that data go? Well, it allows you a couple ways of doing it, but the way that I'm choosing is to use Strava, because Strava can then sync with my Samsung Health, and then Samsung Health can then sync with MyFitnessPal. So I'm able to use Sporty Watch, send that data to Strava, and it shows it all on there, and I can even go in and change workout names and everything. You see heart rate, all the data's there. It's really good. And then that flips that information through the pairing, so like through connecting the apps to Samsung Health, and you see most of the data in there, but not everything. You don't get the heart rate graphs, but you get most of the highs and the lows, and you can see calories and time and just your basic stuff. But what's important is that get your calories, and if you want to track all that through Samsung Health, you can do it that way. You can kind of figure out your steps through Samsung Health. Your workouts show up. You can see calories burned, calories, you know, are your base metabolic rate versus the calories burned through activities. But what's also really cool is Samsung Health will pair with MyFitnessPal if you're using MyFitnessPal to track food. And then the two of them share their information. You can even share your steps from Samsung Health into MyFitnessPal, and it calculates that all for you. Is MyFitnessPal the perfect solution? Hell no. They're buggy as can be. You know, Samsung Health has been so buggy with MyFitnessPal, it's almost unusable. But if I'm only syncing steps, then it's not too bad, okay? Because what I'm doing is I believe I'm syncing Strava workouts to MyFitnessPal and then just steps from Samsung Health. And it seems to kind of work for now. But if you know MyFitnessPal, you know that it can stop working with your connected app at any point in time, right? Now, all of this pairing and stuff and syncing with apps is going to be way better on the Apple platform. I have to tell you that. If you're an Android user, all of this like pairing of Google Fit, Samsung Health, MyFitnessPal, it is so freaking all over the road. Like, it's just like you cannot count on it. You're lucky if you get it to work perfectly. Sometimes you just have to kind of make do and just use the standalone apps and kind of figure things out on your own, like in terms of calories burned versus calories eaten. On an iPhone, with iOS, it's way better. Apple Health is just so much better at collecting the data and sharing it. And all the apps, I think just because it's such a constricted, like the way Apple controls things so tightly, it actually benefits all of this data sharing, because the companies really have to be completely on board with what Apple's doing in order to work with them. And so everything works better. And that's kind of has been the way Apple likes to do things. They like to control things really tight so that things will work better together in the end. You know, I think that's pretty much, I mean, what I'm trying to say here is there's no perfect smartwatch. I have flip-flopped all over the place. Apple Watch, I've used Garmin. I really think Garmin's great. They're just not smartwatch enough. Like I would totally go for the Garmin. I had the Garmin Vivo Active, the original one. I tried the Vivo Active 3. I really liked it. You could even connect a heart rate monitor to it, because Garmin's all about that, really getting the data. So you could connect a heart rate monitor. So big win with Garmin for doing that. Their software is actually really good. One thing about Garmin that I did notice is they actually utilize the heart rate monitor throughout the day to figure out if you're burning more or less calories, not just steps. So it picks up on the fact that I'm like doing, say, you know, moving around doing housework and my heart rate's elevated, and I'll actually get more calories during that time than I normally would. Most of these fitness devices just factor in your steps, and if you're doing cleaning or housework, you might be just moving your arms around, not taking steps, and the watch isn't recording the steps. Okay, all of these devices record things so differently too. That's the other big problem, is that some will record a ton of steps for things that aren't even steps. Some will record just the bare minimum step if it's really a step, but then you're missing out on other things that might be burning calories too, right? Most of the watches don't utilize the heart rate monitor throughout the day to figure out if you're burning more or less calories. They should. They really should, because that's really a better indication of what's going on than steps. Steps is just one dynamic, and you kind of have to be walking or running for it to pick those up. Some watches just don't pick up anything else but that, and you're not getting your full calorie credits, right? So, I mean, I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say here, is there's no continuity. Boy, I'm getting tired. There's no continuity. Everybody does it different. Everybody has their different tracking algorithms. Some companies give you more credit for heart rate during a workout. Some give you less. Some will say, hey, you get 100 calories per mile when you're doing a walk. Some will say, well, no, I'm going to give you more because I can see your heart rate's jacked up, so I'll give you more calories. And, you know, some will just give you no calories. And it's a real nightmare. And I just wish that everybody would get a little bit more on the same page. I wish that everybody would be able to share their information better with each other and be more solid. I wish that everybody would have a way where you could hook up external heart rate monitors, because these built-in optical ones are only so good. If everybody could do that, then I could recommend everything, all the devices. So what do I recommend? It's really tough, but you know, I'd say if you're really into outdoorsy stuff, again, go with Garmin. If you really want the fitness data, accurate fitness data, go with Garmin, because I think they do a great job of tracking your workouts and your daily activity and factoring it all in. If you want something that's maybe just more, you know, your common fitness stuff, you don't need the super outdoorsy crazy stuff. You just need basic tracking with still great software and lots of styles of watches to choose from. Then Fitbit has a variety of watches, different looks. They got some beautiful screens on them and stuff, nice looking watches with lots of accessories and things. So that's pretty much it. I've been talking for almost 20 minutes. It's going to be a long one, but I think it was worth it. Hopefully you got a lot out of it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'm going to keep rocking this Samsung Galaxy. I figured it out. I think I got it working the way I needed to, and I love it. So we'll just continue with that until something better comes along. Until next time, take care.